Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I had a network update for you guys from T-Mobile. I wanted to speak on this a bit more. So I went this weekend, I went around town checking for all carriers, movement, activity, upgrades, new site ads, small cells. I know I mentioned that in the previous video, but what you see here on top of this building, the two white panels that you see, this was a upgrade in progress when I got there. The crane was there, the tower crews, they were on top of the building, and they were upgrading the site to N71 and N41 5G for T-Mobile. And of course, these two panels, they will get painted, spray painted brown to match the to match the other panels as well. So I got to give T-Mobile credit where credit's due. I know they just shut T-Vision down. That's likely going to be perceived as a negative. Investors are likely not going to like that. That'll probably equal billions of losses, billions of dollars of losses once this is all said and done for T-Mobile. But anyway, I think it's time for them to get back to the basics, and it's wireless. Everything that they're going to feed off of now in terms of profits and revenue is coming from its wireless network, and that's the home internet and the wireless customer. So I do think it's time to get back to the basics for T-Mobile. And where I do give them credit, and I'm sure some of you will agree, some of you probably haven't seen it, but the pace and the scale that N41 is growing at is it's pretty intense. I gotta give him that. I mean, seeing 5-6 towers being touched in one day to N41, and some of them are getting a one touch that have not gotten N71. They're getting both at the same time. I think that's pretty impressive. Not to say that another carrier can't replicate this in Verizon. Of course they can, especially if money is being spent, then money will make that happen for you. But what I find interesting is I do think, just kind of backtracking, I do think T-Mobile took a risk. I think they got started on some of this work at least a year prior to the deal actually closing. I really think they took a bigger risk. I think some of the sites that they went to previously to upgrade it to the N71, at that time they did have that spectrum cleared. I think they got some of these sites and baseband units ready for 2.5. I truly believe that. So this process has been ongoing for, I would say, since 2019 at the latest. I truly believe that. And then once it was actually cleared, the deal was actually cleared, I mean, you saw these panels go up on these sites almost immediately in some cases. It took some time for people to actually spot the sites, but the equipment likely was already up on the site weeks prior to people taking pictures and actually spotting the sites. So that lets me know the sites were ready for 2.5 in some way, shape, or form. And that likely means T-Mobile did take a risk to be able to scale the N41 to what it's scaled to now. And to be honest with you, and I think, and this is just my opinion, I think they're scaling it faster this year than they even did last year. And that's what Neville mentioned during one of the investors' conferences, that in order for him to get to the 200 million covered, he has to touch more sites. So that means you're going to start seeing where they do have existing coverage, of course. You probably are going to start seeing 400, 500, 600 megabits per second on your work commute on a highway, or maybe even in a more semi-rural area where they do have a tower, because they have to touch those sites now to get to that goal. And then, of course, to get to that 250, 260, 270, 280, that, of course, signals they have to get into that, to those sites that are on the highways and the more bigger interstates. And I think they get there quicker than what they speak of. I really truly believe that as time goes on, and some municipalities are fully back to normal, more demand is met with equipment, I think they can scale it even faster. I truly believe that, and I'm seeing it here. Now, of course, like a market like Los Angeles and El Paso, they're special because they have such high penetration and market share. So the demand is there for them to upgrade in this way. But, you know, I'm also hearing other markets are scaling pretty quickly too. And if they did take the risk a year prior to the deal closing to get some of the sites ready for 2.5, then it's just easier to make this happen. It's really quickly. It's, you know, pre-existing LTE sites don't really need permits. So they can just, okay, equipment's ready. This is the site that we want to touch now. And I'm sure T-Mobile is dictating that to the tower crews locally. And once they have the listing, then they go attack. They go upgrade. So there's a lot more to work through. That's kind of what I wanted to finish the video off. There's a lot more to work through for T-Mobile. So I see a lot of people say, I don't have service yet. I don't have N41. Again, this is barely starting. They're barely ramping up the scale that they wanted to get to begin with this merger. They're barely getting there. So yes, some rural towns still won't have service. Some rural towns will have service, but no retail locations, no presence. They're fixing that. They're working through that. And that's why I got to give them credit. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But almost, I've seen either every day or every other day now, they're announcing a new store opening in this market and that market. So they're definitely trying to get and execute the goals that they set out. They want to have 20% penetration in rural markets. There's no, you can't, in this case, that business segment, you can't fake that one. You have to diligently work through that. You have to build a network and you have to build retail presence, because rural customers are hard to get. You have to really build that base. That base is not going to come off of an ad or a TV commercial. You have to really build through that base to get them to come over to you. And most of those customers in rural America, all they know is Verizon and AT&T. Some of them may not even know that T-Mobile exists or that it's even a company. So they have to really spend marketing dollars in that environment. The network has to be there, and the retail presence has to be there as well. So again, N41 is a pivotal point for T-Mobile. It should take all the priority, most of the money. It should be spent on that, because it's the driving point for T-Mobile's future. That's how critical this N41 spectrum really is. It's going to drive adoption of home internet. That home internet is going to lead to revenue and profits, and that makes T-Mobile flexible for the future, for future network builds, spend. Maybe they venture off into another partnership. I think they're done with TV. I think we all come to that agreement. They are finished. They will not enter the TV industry again with its own product. Not happening. This moving forward, partnerships. They took a playbook, out of Verizon. They followed their footsteps. AT&T is another animal and a beast because they actually bought the content. So that's different, but even they are spinning off media. So again, media is brutal. The programming fees are just too high. You can't compete on price in that market. It's just rough. It's just rough in that market. So again, N41 networking wireless is T-Mobile's bread and butter. That will lead to the home internet, and then leave the streaming to the other platforms, to third parties. Partner with them, what they just did with Google, and just move on. But you have to make sure that your wireless product is top notch. It can't be half-baked. It can't be unfinished. Just like the T-Vision app, it was half-finished. It wasn't properly done. And then you move on from that. Then you just get better and better and better. The N41 ads are happening. Backhaul boosts are coming. To some extent, I still believe Since it's not their own, there will be limitations. There is no favorable deal in 10 gig backhaul. I can guarantee you guys that it's expensive. Even if you consider that to be a deal, it's still going to be $10,000-15,000 a month per site to get that 10 gig backhaul. So it's just massively expensive, and it's not going to happen on all sites. It's going to be strategic. In high traffic areas, I could see 10 gig. In low traffic, I could see 5, maybe even 2 gig. So I think they strategically planned that out. They already likely have it planned out in the network model on what they're gonna boost the backhaul to. So that's all coming. So again, exciting times at T-Mobile. I would like to see more small cells in the plan. That 50,000 number has been pre-existing prior to the merger. I think I need to see that, or I would like to see that go to 70, 80,000, maybe 100,000. But again, that's up to T-Mobile to decide that, how they want to approach it. But for now, it's looking like it's a solid plan, and they're executing to what their strategy is. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Look forward to reading your comments. If you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.